Captain America throws his mighty shield. All those who chose to oppose his shield must yield. If he's led to a fight and a duel ensues, then the red and the white and the blue come through when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Hey, good afternoon, Flashback fans. This is Troy David at Flashback Comics, and I'm going to do the Troy David Spotlight. I've already talked about Iron Man, and I know everybody was excited about the Iron Man movie, and I've already talked about Thor, and you've seen the Thor movie, and you're looking for Thor: The Dark World. Today I'm going to cover the third part of the Marvel trilogy, or the Trinity, rather, Captain America. Captain America was a character created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby in the 1940s. The iconic cover, which I don't have here in the store, features Captain America socking Adolf Hitler in the face. It sold out almost 1 million copies across the country. It's an exciting book. Cap has the distinction of being part of two different trinities for Marvel. In the 1940s, Timely Comics, which later became Atlas, which later became Marvel. Timely's top three characters were the Submariner, the Human Torch, and Captain America. Today, Cap is part of the Avengers Trinity: Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. After the 1940s, when superheroes kind of went down in popularity, Captain America had a brief resurgence in the 1950s. He was Captain America Commie Smasher. Those issues made a big splash, but the sales weren't very strong and the character kind of disappeared again. They brought Captain America back in the 1960s. In Avengers number 4, we saw Captain America, where at the end of the story he actually joined the Avengers and became a cornerstone of that team going forward. In terms of getting his own feature, he joined Iron Man in the early book Tales of Suspense. Tales of Suspense was a split book. It featured a story with Iron Man and then a second story featuring Captain America. They, generally speaking, shared the cover and they rotated back and forth. So 1 month would be Iron Man, 1 month would be Captain America. I grabbed 2 of the better looking Captain America covers because I already did Iron Man. He had his moment in the sun. Now, Cap, after 99 issues of Tales of Suspense, started his own book, Captain America number 100. The reason you don't see a Captain America 1 through 99 is because that numbering continued from Tales of Suspense. Cap continued on, and we saw some pretty great covers. There were a lot of artists that handled Captain America. Jack Kirby, Jim Steranko, Sal Buscema. It was beautiful, brilliant stuff. Cap got a partner in Sam Wilson, the Falcon, one of Marvel's early African-American superheroes. The Falcon was a staple with Cap for some time. This is his original green costume, which was kind of cool, but the red and white costume I think is the one people recognize better. Now, I pulled this cover out specifically because it also features the Captain America of the 1950s. They wrote the story where they showed a second character who had substituted for Cap, and he was a bit more jingoistic, a bit more ultra-radical. He and Cap battled. The real Cap wins, and the fake Captain America went away, and there's a series of stories with that, which I won't get into right now. Jack Kirby returned to the title. Now, actually, that was with Captain America 193, but 196 is a pretty poppin' cover. I loved the energy of Jack Kirby throughout this series. The stories were maybe a little quirky, not quite what people were used to with Jack Kirby. He had just come back from DC Comics after a hiatus from Marvel, and those stories went through the Mad Bomb, and we got the introduction to Arnim Zola. We saw a lot more of the Biofanatic. Again, some pretty strange, high-concept stuff. Part of the Marvel Universe, but kind of disconnected from the rest of the Marvel Universe. But again, it was just Jack Kirby brilliance. You had to love it. You also got artists like John Byrne. Now, this is Captain America 248. It was written by Roger Stern, featuring the art of John Byrne. They weren't together long on this title, but the stuff they did was pretty fantastic. Dragon Man appears here. That story would later continue on with a character called Machine Smith. Captain America 250, where we basically take the question, why doesn't Cap run for president? everyone in America trusts the man. He wears the flag. He fought the Nazis. He leads the Avengers. Everyone loves him. They trust him. Why shouldn't he be a politician? And they tackled a little social commentary. Sure, Cap is a great guy. He's an Avenger. But what does he know about government policy? About really the internal workings of politics. Cap had to tackle some internal conflict on his own there. It's a great way to give characterization otherwise to a very dynamic, action-oriented character. Cap's perennial foe throughout the years has been the Red Skull. He was a great villain to introduce and oppose Cap. He was a Nazi, but he was more than just a Nazi. He was almost the personification of human hatred. Cap and the Red Skull have battled many, many times. Kind of like Dr. Doom for the Fantastic Four, Magneto for the X-Men, the Mandarin for Iron Man, and Cap versus the Red Skull. Now, issue number 300, which unusually for the time was a normal-sized issue, normal size, normal price, nothing really seemingly special about this anniversary issue, but we saw Cap and the Skull battle to the death, or so we thought. The Red Skull was eventually brought back. Arnim Zola had a lot to do with that. In any event, we've seen other changes with Captain America as well, such as the time that Steve Rogers was replaced with another Captain America. Now, this fellow was also a jazzed-up super guy. It wasn't the super soldier formula. It was something completely different. But John Walker, who was later known as Jack Daniels, the U.S. agent, John Walker was tapped by the government to replace Captain America. Lamar Hoskins became the character Bucky. Writer Mark Grunwald changed Bucky's name to Battlestar after he received a letter educating him to the negative connotations of Buck. Cap 350 sees Cap taking the mantle back from John Walker. After a lengthy plot by the Red Skull, John Walker is pulled into battle with Cap, in an effort to tarnish Captain America's mantle and legacy, and Cap triumphs over all the odds, which is what he does. It's one of the things that makes the story so interesting. Cap is, by and large, just a skinny kid from Brooklyn, turned into a super soldier, triumphing again and again over seemingly insurmountable odds. Cap's book, like many of the Marvel titles, was canceled and then restarted. There was a whole movement at Marvel called The Heroes Reborn. New art teams and writing teams took over the books, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, Captain America, and what came out of that was a set of stories that weren't quite as popular as people had hoped for. That led to the Heroes Return, which brought them back to their own titles, and those titles were much better received. Now, Cap, like a few characters, had a number of title restarts. These are two of the covers from one of the title starts, and I just thought the covers were particularly striking. I like the Fight Terror, and this one, which is the end of that particular story arc, is just really beautiful. I had actually gotten this as a Christmas present. It was very touching at that time. The Captain America stories brought forth a little more of the patriotism. This was very close to the 9/11 point in time, and Cap counseled against simply angrily lashing out. He counseled for more reason and more understanding in what was a pretty dark period. But Cap didn't shy on the action all the same. Now, this particular issue is part of the Avengers Disassembled story arc. It ran through the Avengers, and we saw the team gradually break up. But we also took individual issues, Captain America in particular, and we saw Cap going through his own trials and tribulations while the Avengers were going through theirs. Here, I've got a shot of, let me pull this out. My price tag's in the way, and it's a great cover, and I don't want that price tag interfering with the beauty of the art. What we're seeing here is a character called Sin. She is the Red Skull's daughter. Kind of cute with the red hair and the freckles. However, make no mistake, she was trained by Crossbones, who is one of the Red Skull's top henchmen. She's extremely dangerous, a little bit crazy. She embraces her father's nihilism, but she kind of takes that level of violence to a new level. Sin was featured very, very strongly in the Fear Itself storyline and the Fearless story arc that followed it. Here, I'm jumping around a whole lot, we see the second, well, really more like the sixth version of Captain America. This character is actually Cap's World War II partner, Bucky Barnes, returned after many years of being thought dead. And he had an identity as the Winter Soldier, but right here he's featured as Captain America. It's a new costume, a bit of a redesign on the classic, taking on the Submariner. Bucky Barnes and the Submariner being genuine Golden Age characters. It's always interesting to see them brought together and to have stories in the modern age, but simultaneously getting inside their heads as they think back to a very different era. Now, I'm going to wrap it up there. That's a lot to digest. Come into Flashback Comics, and I would be more than happy to walk through Captain America's history with you, show you some of the great back issues that we have. Captain America's ongoing book right now, Rick Remender and John Romita Jr. Beautiful artwork. It's a great story. Arnim Zola is the feature villain right now. Like I said, it's got a lot of energy. It has me excited. You should come in and take a look at it. I think you'll join me in my excitement. That's Marvel's trilogy, or Trinity, I keep saying trilogy, Trinity right there. And next time up, I'm going to mix it up with the DC characters. Till then, have fun, Flashbackers.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who chose to